What if Deku joined Team JPDE? Chapter 61. Metal Girls. Monday. Day 155. Deku was currently looking for Mina before class started. There was something he needed to talk to her about. He found her with her team. "Hello Mina. Can I talk to you for a moment?" Deku asked. "Hey Izuku. You want to have some kinky time after school?" Mina asked. "Mina. Not when we're around," Irina said. "And not in our room again," Garland said. Deku laughed. "No, not today, sorry. There's something important I need to talk to you about," Deku said. "Oh, fine. Don't wait up for me guys," Mina said. "Okay, we'll see you in class," Orium said. Orium, Garland and Irina then left. "So, what do you want to talk about?" Mina asked. "Remember the day we did it together for the first time?" Deku asked. "I thought you said this wasn't about sex," Mina asked. "It isn't, it's just that something happened afterwards I need to talk to you about." "What? What is it?" Mina asked, panicked. "You took a call and from what I could tell, you came to Beacon under the orders of someone else," Deku said. "What are you talking about?" Mina asked. "Mina," you yelled, "well I'm sorry, but I can't exactly answer a call when I have a dick in my pussy." "Or would you have liked to hear us and for him to find out?" Deku said. Mina then pinned Deku to the wall. "You better not have told anyone. Or you're dead," Mina said. "Don't worry. I haven't told anyone. In fact, I have some information that may be useful to you," Deku said. "You do?" Mina asked. "Yes. From what I overheard, you're here for a good reason. So I think you should know that." "Hold on," Deku said, looking past Mina. Mina turned around to see that Deku was looking at Blaze and Cinder. "What's the matter?" "It's just Blaze and Cinder," Mina said. "That's what worries me," Deku said. "Why would them talking to each other be a bad thing?" "They are sisters after all," Mina said. "Wait, they are sisters?" Deku asked. "Yes, they are. Long-lost sisters in fact. They ended up in an orphanage when they were young and were adopted by two different families. Blaze spent several years trying to track Cinder down and now they are finally reunited," Mina said. "Well, that makes this more complicated," Deku said. "How so?" Mina asked. "Cinder is the one I was going to warn you about," Deku said. "You're accusing her of being here for no good?" Mina asked. "I know she's here for no good. I just don't know what exactly she has planned," Deku said. "Then we best find out," Mina said. "Sadly, I can't help with that. My team needed her off our backs for a while and so we made a deal not to interfere with each other," Deku said. "I see. Thanks for the warning. Should we tell Blaze?" Mina asked. "I believe that would be for the best, but not today. I can see that Cinder makes Blaze happy, and I don't want to ruin her day," Deku said. "I agree. Now let's head to class," Mina said. As the two left, Cinder's eyes followed them. Whilst she didn't hear them, she had seen them looking at her. In the classroom just before classes started. "How could you four abandon us and join the dark side?" Lilac asked. "I wouldn't call sex the dark side," Young said. "It is when you keep us up at night." "I didn't get a good night's sleep all last week," Lilac said. "Why didn't you wear earplugs?" Blake asked. "I did, but you all were too fucking loud. Especially you Weiss, I thought you understood the pain," Lilac said. "I do, but how was I keeping you up? The sun had only just gone down." "It wasn't that late," Weiss said. "It wasn't. But I was trying to get an early night's sleep. I had just drifted off when you screamed, 'Harder Daddy!'" "Punish," Lilac said. Stop. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, alright. Just please don't say anymore," Weiss yelled. "Who knew the Ice Queen could be melted so easily?" Ruby said. "Oh, don't you start. You might have not been as loud, But you were certainly more lewd. How could such an innocent girl be so dirty, Lilac said. That's Young's fault, Ruby said. Hey. Don't blame that on me, Young said. Oh, yeah. Who's the one who brought boys home almost every night, Ruby asked. Young said. Wow, you guys are loud. And here I thought these kinds of things were taboo to talk about in public, Deku said. Oh, hey Deku, Young said. Hey boyfriend, Ruby said. Hello darling, Weiss said. Hello Blake said. Stay away from me. I will not fall victim to your charms, Lilac yelled. Deku laughed. Don't worry Lilac, I won't use my so-called charms on you, Deku said. Thank you, Lilac said. This year, Deku said. Lilac blushed. You better not, or I'll rip your dick off, Lilac yelled. Good luck. Evelyn and Penny have already tried, Deku said. It took Lilac a moment to understand what Deku meant. Too much information, thank you. And now I'm going to go before you say anything else, Lilac said. Deny it as much as you want, Lilac, you'll fall for Deku one day, Young said. I'd rather die. Good day everyone, Lilac said. Lilac then left. You know. I have a feeling she doesn't like me, Deku said. I wouldn't say that. She's more in a bad mood due to a lack of sleep, Weiss said. Which I caused, Deku said. Well, technically we caused it. We wanted to do it and couldn't keep our voices down, Blake said. But you were loud because of me, Deku said. Potato potato. Let's just say it was all our faults and move on, Young said. Right. Class is about to start. We'll see you later, Izuku, Ruby said. See you girls, Deku said. At the safe house. So. How did it feel, Thriller asked. You sure you wouldn't be rather asking if I'm feeling alright, Bella asked. Oh, please, you've had a 1.21 gigawatt smile plastered on your face ever since you came back. So, how did it feel, Thriller asked. Liberating. I've only ever used so much power once before, against the Guardian. And I wasn't in the best states, then. And on top of that, this time I was using it to do something I myself decided on. So, really it was an experience, Bella said. I see. The presence of a personal purpose behind actions. I know what you mean. But to be honest, I was referring to getting carried around the school bridal style and the big hug you got afterwards, Thriller said. Bella blushed. It felt, Bella said, remembering what happened yesterday. It felt amazing. And not just because it was warm hug. He actually touched me himself, I don't think he could stand being in my immediate vicinity not too long ago, and now, Bella said. Well, sounds like you're back to the starting point, then. What's the next step, Thriller asked. Inhale. Janera, you should eat it before it melts. What's wrong? You don't like this mix of syrup, Titania asked. No. It's delicious. It's just, Janera said. Amber is fine, Pipsqueak. Hell, better than before, remember, Titania said. I won't believe it until I see her with my own eyes, Janera said. I get that. Still, we overcame that hurdle, so worrying as much as before is useless. Just wastes shaved ice, Titania said. Why didn't she come see us immediately, Janera asked. Titania sighed. Seems like that poor shaved ice won't have the honor of being eaten. Titania to the rescue, Titania said. Titania grabbed the bowl of shaved ice. Hey! Give it back, Janera yelled. You weren't eating it, so. Tropical fruits, Titania said. I was about to. Gimme, Janera yelled. Why don't you just get another one, Titania asked. I don't want another one. I want that one. Because it's mine. Give it back, Janera yelled. Nope, Titania said. Janera then jumped at Titania. Deku had requested to board the lab ship after school, and to his surprise his request was approved rather quickly. As Deku exited the shuttle, he was met by Seal. "You're late," Seal said. "Am I? I didn't know I was late," Deku said. "You requested the shuttle 10 minutes ago and was approved 9 minutes and 11 seconds ago." "You are late," Seal said. "If you say so," Deku said. "Let's get going." "You've wasted enough of my time," Seal said. Seal then grabbed his hand and dragged him through the ship. Seal. Where are you taking me?" Deku asked. To the infirmary," Seal said. "Why?" Deku asked. Because you're not feeling well," Seal said, confused. "And who said I wasn't feeling well?" Deku asked. "Because you requested to board the lab ship." "Why else would you do such a thing?" Seal asked. "Because I wanted to thank you and offer any assistance," Deku said. "Thank me? Thank me for what?" Seal asked. "You know," Deku said, indicating they should go somewhere more private. I see. Come with me," Seal said. Seal then took Deku into a storage room. "Why did you come to thank me for hacking the elevator to the vault?" "I was forced by my programming to stop Penny from going rogue." "It's illogical to thank me," Seal said. "I don't think so. You could have told General Ironwood about our plan, or you could have just shut Penny down. There were so many other options you could have chosen, but you didn't. So, thank you," Deku said. "As I said, I was forced by Penny to hack the elevator." "It is illogical to thank me," Seal said. "If you say so. Still, I'm going to thank you and ask if there's anything you need help with," Deku said. "Well, since you've wasted my time with your illogical thanks, you can help me with an inventory check," Seal said. "Very well," Deku said. Deku and Seal then set to work. They went rack by rack taking inventory and finding out what needed to be ordered. Deku was currently taking stock from the bottom whilst Seal was up on a ladder taking stock of the top racking. "Update, please," Seal said. "Right. There is a shortage of copper, cobalt, tin, aluminium, magnesium units," Deku said. "Oh, for God's sake. Why do they do this all the time? For once, can they check how much is left before taking it and write it down? Is it that hard?" "What would they do without me?" Seal asked. "Probably run out of materials," Deku said. "Very funny," Seal said. "I try my best," Deku said. "Well, don't," Seal said. "You wound me," Deku said, looking up at Seal. But that was a big mistake. Deku could now see up Seal's skirt and saw that she was going commando. Deku blushed and looked away. "What's the matter?" Seal asked. I saw up your skirt," Deku said. And Seal asked. "Huh? So holding your hand embarrasses you, but looking up your skirt doesn't bother you?" Deku asked. "How does this relate to that indecent event?" Seal asked. "Seal, looking up someone's skirt is more indecent than hand-holding, especially since you're not wearing any underwear," Deku said. Seal blushed, finally understanding. She brought her hand to her face, letting go of the ladder, and ended up beginning to fall. Seal yelled. Deku quickly moved to catch her. He was able to catch her. However, they ended up not in the best position. Deku's hands were under Seal's knees, folding her them to his chest and spreading her legs open. Put me down this instant," Seal yelled, wriggling about. "Seal. Stop. Stop moving. I can't." Deku said. Seal then felt something poking her butt. She went as red as a tomato, realizing what it was. "Put me down, now," Seal yelled. "Stop wriggling first. It's making this very hard," Deku said. "It's not the only thing that's hard, pervert," Seal said. "Just stop moving," Deku said. Seal did so and Deku was able to put her down. Seal then left the room without a word. Deku decided it was best to leave quickly. Seal entered her quarters and went into her charging station. Whilst she was charging, she pulled up the video of Deku's, Evelyn's and Penny's first threesome she had recorded. Deku was currently walking back to his dorm room. As he was passing through the garden, he saw Pyrrha sitting on a bench. It appeared that she had something troubling her. He decided to approach her to see if he could cheer her up. "Hey, Pyrrha," Deku said. "Ah," Pyrrha yelped, as she then fell off the bench. "Ah," Pyrrha said. "Sorry about that," Deku said, extending his hand. "It's alright," Pyrrha said, accepting his hand. Deku then pulled Pyrrha up, but as he did so, Pyrrha ended up bumping into him and holding on. "Sorry," Pyrrha said. "It's okay. Is everything alright, Pyrrha? You're not usually like this." "Don't give you grief being oblivious again?" Deku asked. No actually. There's been something else on my mind," Pyrrha said. "Oh, really? Is it something you're willing to talk about?" Deku asked. "Yes, actually. I could do with a second opinion," Pyrrha said. "A second opinion?" Deku asked. "Yes. There's something someone said to me that made me think about how I value life." "Izuku. How far would you go to save a life?" Pyrrha asked. "I would give up everything I had to save them," Deku said. "Everything? Does that include your life?" Pyrrha asked. "Yes. If I had to give up my own life to save someone else, I would do so, no matter who they are or what they've done. If they look like they are in trouble and calling out for help, I wouldn't hesitate, even if I hate," Deku said. "That's very heroic of you. I would do the same, but I don't think I could sacrifice for someone I hated and has caused so much harm," Pyrrha said. "I don't think many could, but that's just who I am," Deku said. "Indeed, it is. But what about the people you leave behind?" Pyrrha asked. "Excuse me?" Deku asked. "That's what they asked me about sacrifice. Even if you sacrifice yourself with no regrets, how many regrets are you going to leave with the ones closest to you?" Pyrrha asked. "But you'd still leave other with regrets if you died another way," Deku said. "Ha," Pyrrha said. "Sacrifice isn't the only way you could die. You could die during training or contact an illness that kills you. Regrets are a part of life, and you need to learn to deal with them and grow from them. If you don't, then you're not really living life to its fullest," Deku said. "I see what you mean. Thanks, Izuku," Pyrrha said. "You're welcome. By the way, who asked you that question?" Deku asked. It was from something I was watching. They asked the question and it just got me thinking," Pyrrha said. "I see. Good night, Pyrrha, and make the most of your life," Deku said, with a smile. Pyrrha blushed. "Good night, Izuku. Make the most out of your life as well," Pyrrha said. "Already Deku said. Deku then left, leaving Pyrrha to think about sacrifice, and something else. Tuesday. Day 156. Deku was currently thinking of Norah and what happened in the gym with her. He had seen her this morning whilst having breakfast in the mess hall. She was once again wearing her gym clothes, and once she noticed Deku, she became very bouncy, and so did her chest, helped by the fact she once again wasn't wearing a bra underneath. Deku did his best to look away, but Norah just kept creeping into his view. He was glad when he and Penny left early to grab some seats in class. "Izuku, are you okay?" Penny asked. "I am," Deku said. "Hey, Deku." "Hi," Norah said. Norah had followed after them. "Wow, it's been a while." "Well, not really, since we see each other every day in class, but it's been a while since we talked like this." "Also, hi, Penny. You're looking good," Norah said. "Hello, Norah. You're looking positively healthy and glowing, too," Penny said. Hello, Norah," Deku said. "Huh? What's wrong, Deku?" Norah asked. "I asked him the same question." "His complexion is veritably flushed," Penny said. "Just the heat, I'm fine," Deku said. I see. So we could say that you're a bit Hot under the collar, Norah asked. But Izuku doesn't have a collar, Penny said. It's just a figure of speech, ginger sister Norah said. Oh, I see. And what does it mean, Penny asked. It means that Izuku is a bit worked up, Norah said. Deku stuttered. I don't know that one either, Penny said. What about turned on, then Norah asked. What? Izuku has an external power source, Penny asked. Well, Penny, technically Anyway, no. Shut up, Deku yelled. In want. Burning. Aching. Hot to trot. Rambunctious. Concupiscent, Norah asked. I'm afraid I still fail to, Penny said. Thirstier than a Black and his thermos, Norah asked. Oh, now I get it. Izuku, if you're that thirsty, you should replenish your liquids, Penny said. Yeah, Deku, you should drink of the fountain of Norah said. A drink sounds wonderful. Go on ahead, Penny, I'll be back shortly, Deku yelled. Deku then quickly left. Norah, are you sure he's thirsty? It appears that something else is bothering him, Penny said. Oh, don't worry, sister. He is thirsty. Very, very thirsty, Norah said. Team JPDE were heading to the mess hall for lunch. Hey boy toy, Coco yelled, slapping Deku on the butt. Deku yelped. Glad to see you up and about. Last thing I heard about you is that you were significantly injured, before going on a mission, Coco said. Thanks for the concern, but that was quite a while ago. Was your mission supposed to last that long, Deku said. It wasn't. There were so many Grim, more than the last time, and more than the time before that. But I was able to manage, nothing can beat Coco Adele, Coco said. Only if you discount the fact that you went into a panic about not being able to shower for a week, Velvet said. Velvet, Coco yelled. Hello Velvet, David said. Hey, Bun Bun, Evelyn said. Hey guys, Velvet said. Velvet. I did not enter a panic, Coco said. Yes, you did. You cried for an hour when we found out that we would be out there for longer than before, Velvet said. But you didn't have to tell them, Coco said. Then you shouldn't have acted all high and mighty, Velvet said. Seems like you two have to discuss some things, so we'll take our leave, Penny said. See you two around, Jack said. See you later, Bun Bun, Evelyn said. See you, Velvet, Coco, David said. See you later guys, Velvet said. And I'll see you later, boy toy, Coco said. And I'll see you later, hot Coco, Deku said, then slapping Coco on her butt like she did. Coco blushed as Deku walked away. Everyone else was surprised for a moment. The rest of Team JPDE then followed after Deku. Got a taste of your own medicine, Velvet said. Shut up, Coco said. Come on, let's go for lunch, Velvet said. You go on ahead. Nature is calling, Coco said. Alright. I'll see you in a bit, Velvet said. A short while later, Team JPDE had gotten their lunch. They were having a pleasant conversation when... Ow. That hurts. Please, stop, Velvet said. The five looked to see Velvet being surrounded by four boys and having her ear pulled by one of them with brown hair and in armor. What's the matter? Can't handle a bit of roughhousing, the armored boy asked. Yeah, we're hunters. If you can't handle this, you shouldn't be here, a boy with a green mohawk said. Tears began to form in Velvet's eyes. Those little Evelyn said. Deku then stood up. Izuku, Penny said. Deku then walked over to them. He then grabbed the armored boy arm tightly. Oh, the fuck you want, shrimp, the armored boy asked. Oh, could you speak Valenese? The next 2 minutes are going to be really important for you, Deku said. Everyone's attention was now on Deku. What, the armored boy asked. You have some really critical decisions to make, and the first decision that you should consider is stopping what you're doing. But I'm not going to hold back if you continue, Deku said. It's a free country, Shrimp, I can do what I want, the armored boy said. Is that so? Then I can do whatever I want to you. Now, you have probably about 90 seconds to let go of her ear, and you really gotta think it through, cause what's going to have is this, I can't guarantee what's going to happen to you. There's no promise of your safety, there's no promise for anything, Deku said. What are you doing? Trying to psych me out, the armor boy asked. I'm not trying to psych you out. I'm doing the kindest thing I could do right now to you. Now you have about 60 seconds left, you really should let go, Deku said. Who are you to threaten me? I'm Cardin Winchester, Cardin said. Winchester, eh? Well, this makes things a lot easier, Deku said. Ha, Cardin said. If you're not going to let go, what do you want me to tell your family, Deku asked. The entire mess hall was silent. Cardin then let go. Good choice, Deku said. Deku then let go of Cardin's arm and he and his team left. You okay, Velvet, Deku asked. Velvet then latched onto Deku. It's okay, Velvet. You okay, Deku said. Thank you, Velvet said. Coco then entered the mess hall to see this. She then heard some students talking about how scary he just was. Coco then walked over to them to get some answers. So, what happened here, Coco asked. Some guy named Cardin and his team were bullying Velvet, Deku said. That little. How many times do I have to beat his ass before he understands? Where is he, Coco asked. I don't know. I made him back off and they left, Deku said. I see. Thank you for protecting my bun. Allow me to repay you with a date night to Altra's, Coco said. Altra's? Isn't that the really expensive restaurant that's impossible to get renovations for, Deku asked. The very one, Coco said. Coco, you don't need to, Deku said. You protected the love of my life. It's the least I could do, Coco said. Well, if you insist. Now, I do believe this rabbit is yours, Deku said. Right, I'll take her off your hands. Or more like body, Coco said. Careful, you know I like rabbits, Deku said. The two laughed. Deku then handed Velvet off to Coco. As soon as he did, Evelyn and Penny latched onto him. Evelyn. Penny. What are you two doing, Deku asked. Seeing you like that has made us horny, Evelyn said. What, Deku asked, blushing. Izuku, would you please dominate and punish us, Penny said. Girls, we still have classes for the day, Deku said. It's only study hall, Evelyn said. And it's the last period of the day, Penny said. So, do whatever you want to us, Penny and Evelyn said, then kissing Deku on each cheek. Deku couldn't resist any longer. The three of them then left the mess hall. Hey, Velvet, you okay, Coco asked. Yeah. I just want to go to our room, Velvet said. Okay, let's go, Coco said. No, you say and have some lunch. I'll go by myself, Velvet said. You sure, Coco said. Yeah, Velvet said. Velvet then left the mess hall, but instead of heading to the second-year dormitory, she went to the first-year dormitory. During the evening in Ozpin's office, James said he will have enough to cover the school by the weekend, Glinda said. I see, Ozpin said. What are we going to tell the students? They are sure to ask questions, Glinda said. Of course, we're going to tell them the truth. We're experimenting with a new surveillance system, in collaboration with Atlas Academy. A system they will be seeing operating in Vale City, as well, for the duration of the Vital Festival and the period leading up to it, Ozpin said. I see. And what about Amber, Glinda asked. I haven't decided yet, Ozpin said. You haven't decided? But she's healed. She no longer needs the machine, she could just easily spend her convalescence in a bed, now Glinda said. First of all, the vault is the safest place for her to recuperate. Second, what if that is what they want us to do? Ozpin asked. You mean the enemy? Glinda asked. There's no sense to healing Amber, considering that if she died the Fall Maiden's powers would be automatically transferred to her assailant. Unless what they want us to do is making us bring her out, Ozpin said. But they were alone with her for at least a few minutes. They could have easily killed Amber. This can't be about her powers, Glinda said. No. So we have to consider that there might be something else they're aiming for. Including that, maybe, healing her isn't the only thing they've done to Amber, Ozpin said. Deku was currently walking through the garden when he was suddenly pinned to a tree. You've got some fucking explaining to do, Titania said. Huh? Titania, Deku questioned, still dazed. Don't Titania me. You know what you did, Titania said. Titania. I would love to answer your question, but I actually need to know what it is first, Deku said. Why did you fuck my mother? Titania asked. Wait, Evelyn told you that? Deku asked. No, she didn't tell me. I caught you with Mom with her, Titania said. God damn it, Evelyn, why didn't you mention Titania was with you? Deku said. That doesn't fucking matter right now. Answer the question, why did you fuck her? Titania asked. Look, Titania, it wasn't by choice, Deku said. Bullshit, Titania yelled. Titania, throughout the time you've known me, you know I'm not a liar, Deku said. Okay, that's true. But I won't accept that you just fell and ended up in her, Titania said. It didn't happen that way, I assure you, Deku said. Then how did it happen? Titania asked. Well, I accidentally knocked a crate that was filled with vials full of an aphrodisiac, Deku said. An aphrodisiac? Titania questioned. Yes. I was covered in a cloud of it, and I'm pretty sure you can figure out what happened from there, Deku said. Yeah. So, what happened after? Titania questioned. Well, I woke up in her old teacher's dormitory she stayed in before she adopted you, and now we're dating, Deku said. Wait. You two are dating now? Titania asked. Yeah, Deku said, sheepishly. So you're going to become my dad? Titania asked. I guess so, Deku said. Absolutely not. You weren't supposed to become my dad. I wanted you to be my boyfriend, Titania yelled. Deku blushed, followed by Titania blushing and covering her mouth. Ignore that, Titania yelled. Oh, I see. You're jealous, Deku said. No, I'm not, Titania yelled. Don't worry, Titania. I'm sure the others would accept you, Deku said. I don't know, Titania said. Come on, you've come a long way from our first meeting. I'm sure they'd at least be receptive to the idea, Deku said. You really think so? Titania asked. I do. So why don't we go into Vale for a date? Deku said. Okay. Yeah, I'd like that. But what are we going to do? Titania asked. Whatever you want. Apart from sex, Deku said. I wasn't thinking that, Titania said. So, what were you thinking? Deku asked. Anything but that. What about just going into Vale and doing whatever we come across? Titania said. That works for me. Let's go then, Deku said. Deku and Titania then went into Vale for their date. A few hours later they returned. So? Had fun? Deku asked. Yes. It was a nice date, Titania said, burying her face in a large plushie Deku had won for her. It was red and white and resembled a crocodile with a dippy face. I'm glad you did. I'm also glad you like your plushie, Deku said. I don't like it. I love it, Titania said. That makes me happy. Hope you enjoy being the first girl I won anything for, Deku said. Wait, really? Titania asked. Yep, Deku said. Titania blushed even harder. Deku then kissed Titania on the cheek. Good night, Titania, Deku said. Good night, Izuku, Titania said. Deku then returned to his room. I'm back, Deku said. Welcome back, Izu. Where have you been all day, Evelyn asked. That depends. How do you feel about Titania, Deku asked. Norah was in her team's room and she was feeling quite pleased with herself. Pyrrha and Jauna won their nightly training session, Ren said. What, Norah said. You haven't noticed. They even said bye to you, but you replied absent-mindedly, Ren said. Oh. Well sorry, I was thinking about stuff, Norah said. I figured you were. So, what's on your mind, Ren asked. Nothing, Norah said. It's not nothing. And I believe it's tied to that gym encounter which made you take an hour-long shower, Ren said. It's not. And I'm not talking about it with you, Norah said. Norah immediately felt bad. I didn't mean it that way. I'm sorry, Norah said. I know, Ren said. It's just. Ren, I still love you, Norah said. I know, Ren said. And talking about that kind of stuff with you, I feel so guilty, like I'm cheating, Norah said. I understand. But Norah, I'm the one who told you it was okay, remember, Ren asked. I know, but still. Your feelings, Norah said. It's not a situation I was ever interested in being in, Norah. That was the entire problem, Ren said. Yeah, Norah said. So you're not really cheating me out of anything. Also, I doubt you've gone that far on the first try, Ren said. No, but Norah said. But you still liked it so much that you're thinking about it over and over, Ren said. Norah blushed. And knowing you, you're dying to tell someone about it. That's usually me. And there's still no reason to restrain yourself on my part. So, Norah. How did it go, Ren asked. Norah said. Yes, Ren asked. Ren, it was amazing, Norah said. So I guess I saw right, Ren asked. Yes. He was all shy and awkward and trying to look away and not to acknowledge his face, Norah excitedly said. What about his face, Ren asked. Ren, I barely touched him. I grasped his wrists. I've done nothing but exercise and hover above him without a bra, and he was so many shades of red, Norah said. I see. Is that all, Ren asked. No, then I was helping him with reverse crunches, and when he started staring, I couldn't help myself. I started prodding him, teasing him, trying to get him to admit that he was staring, that he was undressing me with his eyes. And the more I prodded him, the redder he got, and the more he stared, the more he turned on he got, until Norah said. Until Ren asked. Norah's face fell. He pushed me off and ran out of there, Norah said. Home. I'm sorry, Ren said. Oh, don't be. You picked the perfect guy, Ren. Sure, right now he's avoiding me like the plague, but he can't do that forever. I'm going to corner him again and tease him and torment him and get into his head until he jizzes in, Norah said. Meanwhile, in Team JPDDE's room, Deku had just told Evelyn and Penny about what happened with Norah. There, Aiju. It's alright, Evelyn said. I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to, Deku said. Shush, it's alright. The evil ginger boobies can't hurt you anymore, Evelyn said. What? Her boobies aren't evil, Deku said. You sure are acting like they are, Izuku, Penny said. No, wait, I'm not afraid of ginger boobies, Deku said. Then what are you afraid of, Evelyn asked. I'm afraid of what she did, the way she made me feel. I almost lost control, Deku said. You almost lost control, Penny asked. You were about to, Evelyn asked. Yes. I know you two like to tease me, but you two have never pushed it that far. Left me in agony for so long, Deku said. Oh my, you poor thing. We best help you. Penny, mind making sure the door is locked? Evelyn asked. Of course, partner, Penny said. Penny then went to lock the door. Wait, what? What? Deku asked. Now, I do, that's a very nice sentiment and all, but you see, the reason why I never made you feel that way. It's because I haven't been really trying to, Evelyn said. Evelyn, time out. Can I get a timeout? Deku asked. Only if you can make a tea with your hands tied behind your back, Evelyn said. Meanwhile, Jack and David were in the kitchen. Wait, what? Deku asked. So I guess we'll be needing this, Penny asked. Where did you even? Deku asked. You gonna join in? Probably going to be much better than being stuck here for hours, Jack asked. Hell no. I'm not going to allow them to make me more submissive, David said. So you admit to being a sub? Jack asked. It's become very hard to deny it, David said. David and Jack then prepared to wait it out. Alright Jack, 100 Leon says Izuku is finally beaten, David asked. Alright then, 100 Leon says Izuku loses it and take charge, Jack said. In the end, Jack won the bet, but they both lost a good night's sleep. End of chapter 61.